Hello, mamas. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing so fine. Okay, so today, like you've seen in the previous pictures, this is what we'll be making. So I went ahead to first, the material we made use of here is scuba, the thick poly. I used 1 yard each of the two colors. That's two yards in total, and I went ahead to mark out my usual measurement. This was for a child of 3 to 4 years. Yes, I don't know why this style took me so long to make, as in why I wasted so much time. I should have made this dress for a long time because I have been in love with this dress for so long, but getting the materials was a little bit challenging. So finally I made up my mind. I went to search and I saw, if you notice, this one is a bit dirty. This was the last I saw of this, but I still had to buy. So I went ahead to use her actual measurement. Her shoulder is 10 divided by 2. I used 5, and I came down back to the chest. I used this her chest measurement is 23, but I used 6. I added a little allowance. Then the sewing allowance I used for this was 1. But in this case, you can either fold your material, cut it out on a bias fold. But I did not fold my own in a bias pattern because the material is, I am managing it. So to say, I am managing it. So I placed it on normal straight cut. Since it will be having a cone, then I don't feel the need to make it a line or bias cut. So I went ahead to mark out the length of the dress, which was 24, and traced it up to the shoulder, to the chest line. Then I cut out. So after that, I went ahead to use the cut out front to cut out the back, just leaving 1 inch allowance for my zipper. Yes, I'll be attaching the zipper to the dress. That is optional. You can decide to use a hook or maybe a little button at the back, just a little opening, maybe 4 to 5 inches opening, just for ease of wearing. That's just it. So, but I'll be using a zipper for this project. So I went ahead to cut out the back piece of this, just like I did for the front, everything the same. Please, if you do not know how to cut out a basic bodice, I have a video on that. You should check that out, so this wouldn't be much of a problem to you. So if you notice, I used my zigzag scissors just to give it a fine finishing, since the material is not the type that misbehaves. So now, after this, I am going to go ahead to mark out the point where our cone will be placed, the length from the downside to where the length of the cone will stop, and how wide our cone will be. So now, after this part, I cut out my neck measurement. The depth of the front I used 2, the width I used 2.5. For the back I used 2.5 by 1 inch. Since it's going to be a bit of high turtleneck, but not so high, but it's going to have a turtleneck. You can decide not to make yours turtle. It's all choice. So now for the cone length, I'm going to be using, if I had enough material, I would have loved to use 12, but I used 10 in this case, and it was still okay. So you can go ahead and use above 10 or below 10, depending on the age and how long you like it. So but I'm using 10 here because I'm managing the 1 yard for this project. So now I went ahead to mark out the spaces where I'll be placing my cone. You can use 1 inch, you can use 1.5, but I used 1.5 for this project. So I went ahead to mark out, keep the space for my my joining allowance, the 1 inch. Then from that 1 inch I went on to mark out 1.5 inches all through. till I got to the end of the other side, and I still left 1 inch by the side for joining allowance. Then for the back, I did the same thing, leaving my zipper allowance 1 inch and 1 inch by the side. So in total, I had 20 cones, 10 for the front, 5 for the back side. That is 10 in total. 10 back, 10 front. I had 20 in total. So now we go on to cutting out the cone. So now the cone, you fold it as if you want to cut out your flea. Then you measure out the length of your cone, which is 10, but I added an extra. I added extra 1 inch for the joining and what any other thing. So you can still trim out after, maybe if you have an excess, you can still trim out after sewing. But it's always advisable to have extra instead of a shortage. So now you can do this on a pattern paper, but I prefer to do this because of my chalk. My chalk is white and it will be more visible on the blue colored material instead of doing it on paper. So now, after cutting this out, I am going to open it up. So we'll be using one side of it to cut out the rest of our cones. Like I said, if you have a material you're not using, it is best to cut this out on that material instead of wasting your material. Or if you have a pattern, you cut this out on your pattern. So I'll be using this now to cut out the rest of the cones. I am going to be adding 1/2 inch on both sides for joining. Take note, I am going to be adding 1/2 inch on both sides of the cone, so I won't use up this cone. I'll be adding 1/2 inch on both sides. Remember, for the length of the cone, I added an extra inch or half, depending on what you want. So I would have excess instead of a shortage. So now, after doing this, I am going to end up getting a total of 20 cones. So I'm going to cut out 20 cones of this same pattern. So after that, after cutting this out, I would go on to attaching them to my dress. And it's as simple as that. It is not as difficult as most people think the style is. But it requires patience. It requires attention to details. It requires your love for sewing. If you're not patient, joining this thing is a bit tricky. You have to take your time. You must not be in a haste. If not, till you there see wahala. So take note of the kind of material I used. This material is a bit scarce now. I don't know why, I'm expensive now. So I'm going to use this now to cut out the rest of the cones because this is the exact measurement I wanted. So like I said, you can decide to make yours fatter, longer, whichever way you want. So this is the 20 pieces here. We are ready for sewing. So now let's go to my sewing table. Okay, before that, I'll be cutting out facing. Please do not mind me. I forgot this is a turtleneck dress and I do not need to turn the neckline. So I'm here cutting out the marked out line. Make sure you do not cross the 10 inches allowance. If it's possible, do not even get to the 10 inches point so you don't over cut. It is like I always say, it is better to not get to that point than to overpass, than to cross that point. Because remember the inches of your cone, so you don't bypass it. So I've gone ahead to cut out all the lines for both the front and the back part. I'll do the same thing for the back. We are ready. 10 front, 10 back, leaving out the allowances for both the zipper and the sides. So now for the facing, like I said, I forgot it is a turtleneck dress, so I went ahead to cut out facing as if I'm sewing a normal neckline dress. So here, instead of cutting it out in full, you're going to cut just the armhole. You're going to cut out facing for just the armhole. So I'll still go and trim it. I'll show you guys later how I trimmed it off. I'll be using only the armhole, then I'll be using my hemming gum to press it down so it looks neat and beautiful. So now, welcome to my sewing table. I have gone ahead to attach the cone. Please, when you're joining the cone, endeavor to sew half inch on both the cone and the main bodies of the dress. Make sure you consume at least half an inch while joining it. That is if you left 1 inch or 1.5 inches as your in between space measurement. So now, when you're sewing and you get to the point there, the point that looks like a V, you use your needle to hold it in place. Then you turn over. You bring out the other side of the cone and join with half an inch, please. But I would advise, if you are just starting out or if you're not used to this pattern of sewing, I would advise you try this on a pieces, on a rough material that you don't have need for, or on a paper. You can sew it on a paper or on a material to try it out, and when you notice you've gotten what your desired result, then you can now start sewing on your fabric. So just watch as I attach the cone, front side facing front side, making sure that I am sewing on half an inch on both material, fabric, and the cone. So that is how I would go on and attach the cone on all the parts of the dress, all the parts that needs to be sewn with a cone, that needs the cone to be sewn to it. Grammar. So if you do not have patience, please just don't worry yourself, because this one will test it will really test your patience. So after this now, I would go ahead to use iron and press open so it can lay flat. It is necessary that if you did not use an interfacing to hold your fabric in place, because there can be some sort of stretching around that area. So now you can see I still have my 1 inch on both sides. So I'm going to join the front and the back. But before then, I am going to turn my armhole. Like I said, I won't be turning the neckline because it is a turtleneck dress. I'm going to cut out the area just for my armhole. Please, if you're just seeing this channel, please subscribe to this channel. We have beautiful dresses here for your kids. Like, comment. You can share this with people you believe might have interest in stuffs like this. Then you can ask questions. I would answer. So now I am going right there trying to turn out my armhole. After turning this out, I would use my hemming gum to give it a good and a flat professional look. Hemming gum does the magic. It gives it a really good finishing. But before then, I'm going to trim out any excess so it doesn't cause any form of bulkiness around the area. So after that, I'm going to join the front and the back. After joining the front and the back, I'll measure my neck area. Whatever I get around the neck area, I'm going to go on to cut out the same measurement for my turtleneck. Then I would attach my zip, and that is all. So now I'm still here joining the front and the back. I'm just trying to be careful and trying to take things easy while my little madams are troubling me. As you can see, it was already getting late here and I needed to complete this dress, but I couldn't. I just had to pause and continue the next day. The dress took my time. Oh, good. So I went ahead to measure my neck area and I had 15. I went on to cut out exactly 15. I did not add anything. Remember, the material is stretchy, so there was no need adding any extra into the 15. So I just cut out the 15 on fold 7.5. Then for the width, I cut out 3 inches on fold 1.5 inches, and that was it for the neck area. Then I used ½ inch from there to sew, which at the end I had my neck, it also neck was now 1 inch high. That's very okay. So now, after cutting it out, I went ahead to notch both the midpoint of the turtleneck, the material cut, and the fabric. So I joined it from the midpoint, so both ends will be equal. Before then, I had gone ahead to close up the both sides of my cut out material. So now I'll just sew on it till I get to the very point, that's the zipper area, and I'm going to end it there. Remember I said you mustn't use zipper. You can as well make a little opening there, maybe 4 inches or 5 inches, and attach button at the end, or you can use your zipper, but it mustn't be long. It could be a skirt zipper length. Then after that, we'll go ahead and join every part that needs to be joined. Thank you guys. I haven't appreciated you guys today. Thank you for the constant support. Thank you for sticking by. Thank you for helping this little channel grow. The said progress, it is slow but steady. Slow and steady wins the race. I am happy to be on this with you guys. Thank you for the constant love and support. I promise to always show up. It is not easy, but I will try. So I'm still here joining. Okay, here now I am joining the back side. Remember, I left 1 inch on every part of it, the sides and the zipper for joining, and you're going to make use of that 1 inch. We do not want to see any other color showing around that cone area. It is not, it is prohibited. Don't mind me. Oh, so here now you can see I've gone ahead to press down my armhole with hemming gum. You see how flat it is laying and looking very fine. Then the neck area, I have ironed everything out. Now it is time to attach my zipper. So you're not going, as you're attaching your zipper, you won't be stretching it. You remember, it is a stretchy material. You won't pull your zipper, you just sew. You just keep sewing. Do not stretch it so one side doesn't become longer than the other side, and it doesn't squeeze or make some kind of snake-like movement on the back. So you're just going to sew on it like that till you get to wherever you want, the length you want for your zipper. And I guess that's all. And once you are done attaching the cone, that's the major stress in the dress. And once you're done attaching the zipper, you are 80% done. So our dress looks so beautiful on the owner. It is so beautiful. And you can go ahead and mix as many colors as you wish. Like I said, I was working on a budget. I had money for just 2 years. And I did not have the other color I have at home here would not green. It won't match this other color. So I couldn't use it. Being that the material was as in scarce. So, just leave it. So you can see here, I'm done attaching my zipper and our dress is ready and all. Our dress is ready to be worn to anywhere, any occasion. That's the beauty of this dress. I like it because you can wear it with anything. You can wear it to anywhere. It is a casual dress, but it serves for any event, anything, even an adult. It could be made for an adult. It is not just for children. Mommy, you can make it for yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed this session of our tutorial today. I hope you loved every bit of it. Please do not forget to comment, like, and share. Any observation you can drop in the comment section. And I would like to know where my beautiful people are watching from. Thank you for watching till this very point. Our dress is ready. Okay, see you next time. Bye.